Let's talk about avoiding one of the pitfalls that a lot of LOs get into, right? Especially if they've never done anything in sales before in their lives. You'll notice that they're all focused on one thing. My rate's lower than his rate. I'm cheaper than he is. My fees are lower than that guy's. And they're all just focused on being cheaper than the next guy, having lower rate than the next guy. And that's pretty much all they do because they don't feel like they bring any other value to the table. Let's talk about something different. If you've ever shopped, let's say at South Coast or one of those places, one of those stores like Gucci and Fendi and Versace and stuff like that, right? They all sell tennis shoes. How is it that those guys are able to sell tennis shoes at $600-700 and you can find something that looks just like it, at Ross, let's say, for like 20 bucks? Do you think that Gucci is worried about you walking in there and asking them like, hey, I saw shoes that look just like yours at this other store for a lot less. Do you mind like discounting that for me? I mean, they're gonna just laugh you right out of the store. So why is it that if a customer comes up to you and says, hey, that loan officer over there, he's across the street, he said he'd give me that rate. You're saying 3.25, he said 3.125. Why shouldn't I just go over there? It's like, no, don't go. I can do it at 3.00. I'll do it for less. Why do most LOs do that? Why are they so focused on that? Honestly, they don't feel like they bring anything else to the table besides just being a rate. I call them rate monkeys. It doesn't take any talent at all to look at the little rate sheet on the screen and just say you'll do it for less. But if you're always willing to be the guy that's gonna do it for less, how are you ever gonna be successful in this business? Because I'll tell you this much, the companies out there, just outside of this business, outside of loans, that are able to distinguish themselves from the competition and basically sell you the exact same product or service for a lot more are doing it because they're selling you something else that's just besides that product or service that they're selling. When you go buy that sneaker at Gucci or Louis Vuitton or whatever for 700 bucks, are they really just selling you a sneaker? What else are they really selling you? You feel special. They're selling you bragging rights. They're selling you being unique, something that nobody else has. This is what they're selling you. They're not selling you sneakers. They're selling you something that you can't even touch most of the time, which is an emotion, a feeling. The best companies sell you something beyond just that product or service. I sometimes like to compare it to like buying milk. When you go buy milk, you walk into the store and there's a whole bunch of different kinds of milk. Some of it's 99 cents, some of it's $2, some of it's $3. Some of it has no hormones, some of it has vitamin D, some of it is low fat, some of it's whole milk. I mean, there is a plethora of just milk, different brands and everything. Do you just go in there and just pick the cheapest one? You don't, right? You don't just pick the cheapest one because there's so much else that there's there. And that's the same thing when you're talking about building your business and building your own brand and how you market yourself. Do you want to be known as the cheapest LO? Or do you want to be known as the best one? Or do you want to be known as the one that closes the fastest? Because all of those things are not on the rate sheet. Do you want to be known as the one that gives the best advice? Those things are not on the rate sheet. Do you want to be known as the one that gives peace of mind? Because that's not on the rate sheet. Imagine that your closing ratio was so high compared to everybody else's that you tell the customers, like, look, you can go with other people, but I guarantee that I'm going to close your deal. That guy over there, who knows? I don't know what his closing ratio is. Those things are not on the rate sheet. And if you cannot convey this to your customer, if you cannot show them that you are more than what just on the rate sheet, you're never going to be successful in this business. You have to master this skill of differentiation, of selling value, of bringing value to the table, not just being a rate monkey that just looks up what the rates are and say, hey, I can do it for less. You're never going to be successful that way. The best LOs know how to distinguish themselves from everybody else. Besides the fact that there's, sometimes giving the lowest rate to the customer isn't the best rate because maybe the customer needs a higher rate. If you can give them rebate, if you can give them the closing costs, everybody's different. You got to look at all angles.